Nikon just updated the Z6 III with firmware version 2. It has some really heavy features like auto capture, like a dedicated bird mode, which a lot of people were expecting. Now the Nikon Z6 III has it. It can now actually zoom in manual focus by 400%. It now has pixel shift shooting, pre-release capture, improvement to external recorder support, and also USB streaming has been made easier. So many features. Just so many features, all right? And with this firmware release, Nikon has sort of given the Z6 III a new leash of life. It's these firmware updates that Nikon pushes really protect the values of these cameras, and they create longevity and a longer relevance for this camera. So the people who buy into these systems, if they want to sort of sell it, let's say, they're going to get more money out of selling a used Nikon than selling something that doesn't get updated and feels outdated. This camera starts, the Nikon keeps giving you updates so that your current camera is always current without you having to change your camera to a new one, because these cameras are all built very well, built for the longer term. By the way, this video is being shot on a manual focus lens. This is a 50mm lens, 1.4. I'm shooting at f2. If you can guess the lens, let me know what you think. Interesting. The difference between what Nikon has been doing so consistently over the last 5 years compared to what Canon and Sony have been doing is such a stark difference. Canon launches a firmware update, pulls it back. There's some problem with the software, the camera doesn't switch on, 10 things happen, and so when a firmware update gets released on Canon, you want someone else to update their camera. You don't want to update it yourself, right? That's what's happening with the Canon front. Fuji front, every firmware update happens, the autofocus becomes more complicated. Performance becomes more laggy. I really regretted updating a certain firmware on my Fuji X-T5, and I didn't love that experience at all. And I was thinking, why did I should have not upgraded the firmware. Is Sony, they're often too late. They don't respond very easily. A1 never got a proper firmware update. The A7 got some, but very minor updates after it's been out for 4 years now, actually more than 4 years now. And if we look at Sony, and once you have a firmware update, some lenses stop working, and they're known for amazing flexibility of using third-party lenses. Nikon, they released I remember the firmware 3.0 on the Z8. When that firmware came out, some Tamron and some third-party lenses stopped working with the Z8, and what they did, within 10 days they launched, I think, firmware 3.01, and that solved the issue. Now, I actually bought a new adapter at that point, the MegaAdapt Pro, and after the update, the fix from Nikon, I realized even my original MegaAdapt works completely fine, no problem at all. So I think Nikon overall, their approach has been so good. They have been really a custodian for their consumers, for their clients, the photographers, and this is the kind of attitude I want to see from a camera manufacturer. A long time back, when I initially got into Fuji, that's what I had known about Fuji, heard about Fuji, and Fuji did give tremendous support to the Fuji X-T2, X-T3, especially X-T3 got a lot of support for a very long time. Recently, Fuji's updates have been kind of controversial, but if you look at it, and by the way, Lumix has been doing a good job. They brought out a very good firmware update with better autofocus and everything on the Lumix S5 series of cameras. Also, the S1, they got the Arilog C, so good things. But then for the Arilog, you have to pay some money to Lumix because it's apparently licensed from Ari. So, but in case of Nikon, you don't have to pay. So all of this goodness they're getting on the Z8 or the Z9, you've been getting for a long time on the Z9, and now on the Z6 III, all of this is free, and this is what builds customer loyalty. Nikon have been doing it this silently for the last 4 years, more than that, and I'm sure that at some point in time people will realize, hey, this is one brand that seems to be really showing their commitment to you. They listen to you, and add features to your camera. It's amazing the attitude that Nikon has been showing. It's not just about what the camera is becoming. It's also, your brand is a brand that you can trust on, and they're listening to you, they're taking care of you, they ensure that your gear, which you've spent so much money on, does not become invalid and obsolete quickly. And this is happening at a time when planned obsolescence is a thing. They're just trying to build obsolescence in so many products. So this is so refreshing from by Nikon. I really admire Nikon for doing this, and I wish more camera brands did that. It's quite possible for Canon to potentially push some firmware updates and probably give the C-Log 2 to the R6 II, but they haven't. They're planning to launch a new R6 III. And it's not been a long time that the R6 II has been out. It's what, 2.5 years. So that's not a very long time. Yeah, so that's what I had to say. Like this video, subscribe to this channel, help me reach 10,000 subscribers soon. Can you guess this lens? I'm thinking I'm going to let you know what the lens is in the next video. So that's something to look forward to. Subscribe to this channel and let me know what you think of this look. Some of these low budget, manual focus lenses are really good. And I kind of started thinking about manual focus lenses when I started using the notch, the Nikon, this $8,000 US dollars 58.95 knocked a few weeks back. I used it for a week, 10 days. I loved using it, and I thought, okay, for these kind of videos, I can probably use a manual focus lens. So I tried it. So do share your comments, and if you have questions, do ask your questions. If you take membership to this channel, I'm going to personally reply to you over mail, or probably spend more time answering your questions even in the chat. So yeah, I would encourage you to take membership of this channel. The level 1 membership is very inexpensive, so it's very affordable for everyone. It's going to help the channel a lot. So if I would urge you to have a look at it, consider it. Also, a lot to say, okay? A lot to say on this channel. I'm going to do a few videos on what my expectations are on the Canon system. I've been thinking of wrong word. I've been thinking of trying the Canon system for a long time because, hey, it's Canon. I mean, it's a legendary brand, but I have never felt I can justifiably spend my money on the Canon system thus far. So I'm kind of curious about what the R6 III is going to be. So I'm going to have a conversation on that in the later videos as well. See you, subscribe, see you soon with another.